Donnie.
Donnie.
All right.
Donnie, right here, please.
All right.
Donnie.
Got it.
Donnie, I hear this. Hi, Chuck here.
Bob,
Pick up the glasses.
No. Go ahead now.
Listen, baby. You got everything about it. Yeah, I give it to you. No. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. No tienes 50 ahorita.
Michael over here. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we did. Also, someone said to put his name in there.
Up this way. There you go.
Neil? Yes. Over here, can you turn around, Neil?
Does anybody know where we're going? Yeah, you okay?
Just wait a minute, please. Be careful. I had them waiting. This is the door. Come on, guys, come over here, man.
Yeah, Chris, don't wait.
About the award tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
Bob, what do you think about the award tonight that you're
It's
getting?
wonderful what it is. Some kind of way.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
No. Very good. Okay, stay here.
Maybe wind it. Keep winding down. Yeah. Does it look okay, huh, Chris?
You didn't have head quad right now?
Well, I think artists like Bob Dylan, especially at the time that they came along, are responsible for a lot of things. You know, FM radio, album sales versus single sales, a lot of things that were really revolutionized in the record business in the early 60s, which pretty much made the way for people like myself and other artists to follow, and actually developed the business that we know today.
When were you first aware of his music, and how did it hit you?
In all honesty, I think it was very strange to me when I first heard it. Recording techniques, a lot of the stuff, I was pretty pop music oriented at the time, so like a lot of people, I was, but very impressed, The party's great. The food is even better.
Uh-oh, time's up.
See you later.
School's out.
This is the food bill.
Yeah. Time for motion.
New song with Patti LaBelle.
It's a Burt Bacharach song, and a Burt Bacharach and Carol Sager song, and a Burt and Carol production. It's happened pretty fast, really. It wasn't really scheduled to be a single. It wasn't even really scheduled to be a duet. I went in, we started singing, and I wound up with more and more lines as the thing went on, and so it kind of became a duet, and then eventually their single. It's been a great thing for me. Especially after my last record, but it's been a lot of fun, and I hope to perform it with her one of these days. I actually hope to even talk to the woman one of these days.
If you could most identify with the Dylan tune, which would it be?
Gosh, I think the one that comes to my mind the most, that the one I remember hearing first, was Like a Rolling Stone. Probably because of the organ lick in there, and I came to know later that Al Cooper was the guy playing the organ on that, so every time I think of Bob Dylan, I kind of think of that song.
Michael, what brings you to this event tonight?
Well, I'm an ASCAP writer, and this is put on by ASCAP for Bob Dylan. And so myself and a lot of the ASCAP writers, or a lot of the people who are here tonight are ASCAP writers. Not solely everyone. I think there's some BMI writers, but for the most part, it's ASCAP people.
Amy, what are the chances of you and Mike recording together?
Pretty good. We do.
It's like having your dad teach you how to drive, but we have a lot of fun. The chances are pretty good.
Yeah, we do a lot of writing together.
What are you working on now?
Well, I guess not much. Having babies right now, but other than that, we've got a little bit of time off, so I got to start another album pretty soon, and Amy's been doing a little bit for an album for herself coming up, and we've been both doing a lot of movie projects off and on, so keeping pretty busy.
Mike, let me get a comment from you on the Delta project.
It's an album I did with him about 2 years ago that was released on MCA, and it's been kind of a hit on the West Coast, I guess you could say. And the latest single from the album is one of the ballads from the album, Change of Heart. It's Sister Maureen's the lead vocalist and a group of musicians. And they're actually an LA group, LA rock band, one of the many, who've played the club scene around here and stuff. But it's a real good record. Certainly not the best they'll ever do, I hope, but it's a good start.
Tell me about the Doobie reunion.
Doobie reunion. Your guess is as good as mine, I'll be honest with you.
Tell him about the Doobie reunion.
If anybody knows anything about it, brief me. But there's been a lot of talk about it over the years, and it's not that any of us ruled it out. What this particular situation is that I've been hearing on the news that's all I know of it, is what I've heard on the news, to be honest with you. I haven't talked to any of the other members of the band. We've talked briefly about doing some charity things that may or may not pan out, but it could be any configuration of the group, to be honest with you. It may or not include me. It may just be more like the original evolution of the band. I think the Doobie Brothers have, a reunion somewhere in the future, but really whether or not I'll be doing it, I can't say.
Every influence. Well, I mean, he's Bob Dylan. Same influence. It's such an abstract question, I don't really think I can answer it. But he's the reason I'm here now.
What's the Dylan song you remember learning?
The first Bob Dylan
What song you remember learning that had an impact
on guitar, I think it was on the Freewheeling Bob Dylan album. Corina Corina or one of those, I don't know.
Chris, how's your new album coming along?
Okay, good.
How far along are you?
About halfway through.
When are you looking for a release?
September.
Why so long? Why such a long period?
Is that long? Oh, I'll probably finish in a couple of months, but then, I don't know, put it out a while later. I'm not sure why. My manager knows all that. Pardon me?
With regards to Bob Dylan, why do you think he has such longevity? Why do you think he's always current and always now?
Because he's a great folk singer, he's a great songwriter, and there aren't very many. And even if there were a lot, he still would be the best, I think.
Are there any Dylan songs you'd want to sing on your tour?
Yeah, we just did a song for a benefit for the Colombian volcano victims, a song off the Shot of Love album called Property of Jesus. Now, I'd like to do that one again, because that's one of my favorite songs of his.
Has Dylan had any influence on your music?
Yeah, I imagine he has, yeah. I didn't ask to come in here, that's why I'm not very good at this, so I do feel like a prick sitting here.
Did you get to talk to him or meet him or anything?
Yeah, I have met him. Yeah, it was very exciting.
How's the baby doing?
They're both doing really well. That's another reason why it takes me so long.
Chrissy, do you think that some of the values that Bob Dylan wrote about in the 60s and early 70s are still on people's minds today? Or do you think that some of the times that he wrote about have sort of passed on by?
I think a lot of people are asleep. And I think if you're writing about the truth, that doesn't really ever change. But people change. And, you know, I don't think the world's really probably changed because of anybody's song. I think it's... But it helps. It makes people feel better, and it brings some awareness to people.
Was there anything in your life and your career around the time that you first became aware of his music? Where were you then?
Oh, I was in Akron, Ohio, and I was probably about 13. So, pardon me?
When you first heard your first Dylan song, how did you feel? I heard my first time.
No, I can't remember when it was. He had a hit on the radio, and his first hit. Yeah, I thought it was very different.
Are you going to do any traveling with the Simple Minds tour?
I shouldn't think so. Not unless they ask me to join the band or something, or give me a job doing wardrobe or something. Who, Dylan? Well, yeah, there wasn't, I mean, at the time that Positively 4th Street...
Personnel changes in the Pretenders.
Yeah, there's lots of them. In fact, I'm very embarrassed that you should even bring it up.
See, how are you sharing the parental duties, or are you sharing?
How was Bob Dylan picked for this award?
Well, we every once in a while make a decision at ASCAP at the board level to honor one of our members. It has to be a very, very special person. The first award was given out 2 years ago, and we gave it to Stevie Wonder, who's obviously one of our great singer-songwriters. And we've waited 2 years, and now we're giving it out to another great singer-songwriter, Bob Dylan. We just thought he deserved it, and it was about time that we recognized the importance of his music.
Is there any kind of tough scheduling for these awards, or just whenever the spirit moves?
It's not a scheduling because we don't want to give it out on a regular basis. It's, I think, closer to when the spirit moves the members of ASCAP to recognize someone who perhaps hadn't been recognized properly before this.
Based on royalties or anything?
No, this is based on esteem.
Did anything trigger this particular timing, like the release of the Biograph album?
I can't tell you. It's like a chemistry that's in the air. Suddenly somebody said, isn't it about time we did something about Bob Dylan and let him know how much we care for his music and what he stands for?
Is he a willing recipient?
Well, he's here today, and I think he is a willing recipient. I think he's very pleased. Excuse me?
You yourself have been a very successful songwriter for nearly 30 years now. How would you personally, as a songwriter, view Bob Dylan's music?
Well, I think he is obviously an innovator, a trendsetter. He created a kind of music that dealt with social problems, social awareness. I think he's one of the most important forces in American music.
Getting back to the royalties question again, is there any way to estimate all the artists who covered his material and all the places he played, what royalty figure it has brought in?
I frankly don't even know what my royalties are, much less what his are. No, I don't know. I'm sure he does very, very well.
Al,
Yes.
a song you wrote about 25 years ago, Little Red Book, has resurfaced on 2 albums this year alone with Greg Kinn and Ben Nugent. How do you feel about this resurgence of that piece of material?
Well, I love to hear any song I've ever written, performed, and played on the radio. And when it's a new record, it just makes me feel like a kid. And I enjoy it as much today as the day I wrote it.
Al, what do you consider the most important song you've written?
Oh, I keep changing my mind. Probably the most important is Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Perhaps the one I enjoy the most is Alfie.
Why?
That's a good question. I think in Alfie I probably came closer to writing a song or the lyric to a song as fully finished as I would like it to be. You know, it's rare that you ever get something that is everything you want it to be. That's as close as I've ever gotten.
Is there any reason why the two Founders Awards have gone to writers who've written basically to a modern young generation and not people whose songwriting might go back to the 40s and 50s?
No, I don't think it's been thought about. You know, well, Bob Dylan does go back to the 50s, doesn't he? But no, I don't think there was any specific reason for choosing. Well, you know, people like Sammy Kahn and myself and things of that nature, I'm not going to mention Henry in a moment, we're on the board of directors of ASCAP, would be inappropriate for us to give ourselves awards. Henry Mancini is, you know, one of our great composers, and there's no reason he shouldn't be. He does receive awards all the time. And in fact, we asked Henry just earlier to make a video for us. You know, we have a big legislative problem in Congress, and there are hearings on April 9th, the source licensing bill, and we're having a press conference in Washington, and we're getting, Quincy Jones and a whole bunch of people to make videos to show to Congress to explain our problem. Henry just did one for us a half hour ago.
What other contenders do you see for such awards?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We haven't finished with this. It's hard to know. There's so many terrific ones. Neil Diamond, that's not bad. I don't know. Well, I think Dylan, for example, made great changes in lyrics and in the subject matter you wrote about, and I think that happens today more so than it used to happen. I think lyrics today are often terrific, often incisive and exciting, and often terrible. And it was the same when I started writing. I think the same percentage of good stuff comes out today and the same percentage of trash. And fortunately, there's a lot of good stuff. Yeah, that makes it better for me. I'm delighted.
ASCAP stepping forward in any way to represent or whatever these musicians such as Ozzy Osbourne being attacked, heavy metal. Does this influence you in any way? You talk about lobbying Congress at all. Is that part of the music scene also important to ASCAP?
Anyone who writes music and publishes music is important to ASCAP. We have no sense of one kind of music being better than another and one kind of performer being better than another. I mean, the public makes that decision. We don't.
How much royalties has Mr. Dylan earned in his career by your estimate?
Yeah, I frankly, if I knew, I don't think I'd have the right to tell you. I honestly don't know.
Have his songs been recorded by more people than any other composer?
I would assume, without knowing, I mean, that's kind of, that if you had to pick the composer whose songs have been recorded by more people, you'd probably pick Irving Berlin.
Have you talked to Mr. Dylan?
Yes, I have. Yes.
How does he feel about this?
He seems very tickled, pink, and elated about it.
What did he